What's up? Welcome in on another Hump Day edition, and look what we got here. We've got three guys on the screen, the whole crew back intact. A little out of order here. Mac had to, he showed up on time for school, then he got sent to the principal's office, and we had to bring him back in, so he's in a different spot. But we're all here, man, and there's a lot of stuff to go around. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Feel free to comment along if you're watching along. Follow us on all of our social channels, including our new and improved Facebook page, Just Mike Arana Show. So if you were watching us there before, you wondered where the hell we went, we got the answer from one of our FOPs last night. Our guy, You Got Roz, way too much sexiness going on, and that's why we had to start a new Facebook page. But here we are, in salmon, in black and white, and of course with no sleeves. So you know everything's back to normal here. Comment along if you're watching along. We'll get as many of them up on the screen as we can. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about the NHL's second half of the season, some interesting stuff that went down in Milan today, as well as some more nuts and bolts, if you will, numbers on how historic the Seahawks season was that I still don't think a lot of people are talking about. Parade Day in Seattle today, some funny moments from there, as there usually are. Clint Kubiak introduced in Las Vegas and why that matters big time, that they're bringing a Seahawk to Las Vegas for the second time, and maybe this one will go better than the first one. We also got some stuff to talk about in the NBA, and we're going to let TJ jump into the golf love on this program here, and maybe it's just to provide a distraction so I don't have to send Vegas Mac on another cruise again. Mac was here last night. TJ was not. TJ, how the hell are you, buddy?
Well, I'm over the Sunday hangover, so I'm feeling great.
Feeling great. Do you have any questions as far as Bahama Bob's trip that you want to get off your chest right now?
No, I mean, he looks refreshed. He looks tan. He looks good. He looks like he had enough Kirks and Caicos for
absolutely.
His,
Man, I can't wait to show you some of the stuff he's already given me, and I know he's still going through the gajillion pictures on his phone. Vegas Mac, second night in a row. Are your sea legs back under you? Are you back used to time here on the left side of the country yet?
Yeah, I will tell you, after the show last night, I fell into a deep coma. It did not take long. I just everything finally. It's that they always say it's not the day you come back. It's like the second day that you come back from everything. And yesterday was kind of that second day, and man, my wife and I would after the show, I sat down, I had a little bit of dinner, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm tapped out. I'm going to bed. Good night. And she's like, yeah, I'm right behind you. So it was a early, quiet, lights out night at the McKenzie house last night.
It was bye. I realized I was gone for 12 days, and apparently my weeds were like, hey, you son of a bitch, you got work to do. And then the pool and everything else as we're getting ready. Last year we missed out on a lot of pool season. We didn't get the pool up and running until about August. So I'm making sure that thing's ready to go the second we get a chance to jump in. Again, feel free to comment along if you're watching along. Plenty of stuff to talk about tonight. T, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Super Bowl since we didn't get a chance to talk to you about it last night. What'd you think of the game? I would venture to guess not a whole lot of surprises for you either.
I mean, not really. The only surprise was I didn't think the domination by the Seahawks would be that profound. I thought the Patriots, as evidenced from my plays, I thought that the Patriots would kind of hang with them for a little bit and then kind of lose their way a little bit. And it actually turned out the opposite. They lost their way early, and then they made a little bit of a rally to make themselves feel better. But no surprises at all. I thought Seattle earned it. They played a great game. They were the best team. Hats off to them. They played great. They did exactly what they needed to do. Their game plan was executed perfectly.
Yeah, and Mac, we talked about a little bit of the historical significance of what the Seahawks did last night, and I wanted to get them all together on the same page here. A couple of these, yes, we mentioned them last night, but it really puts it into the proper context. And seeing the aftermath of the Super Bowl and everything else, I don't really think people are really talking about how dominant this damn team was for the entire season. They only trailed for $135 in the entire postseason. First since the 1991 Redskins. Yes, the Redskins. That's what they were called at the time. Don't at me. 0 turnovers in the postseason. We talked about that. First team ever to do that. First team since Pittsburgh in the 74 Super Bowl, Super Bowl IX, to hold their opponent scoreless through 3 quarters. They lost 3 games this year by 9 total points. 2 of those teams they had to run through on their path to the Super Bowl, and they beat 3 12-win teams in the postseason, the first team to ever do that. Like, when you take that in totality, Mac, why are we still, not us, because we've been talking about the Seahawks team a lot on this program for a while since Mike McDonald's got there. Why are we not giving them enough national love for what they're doing? It's like a kind of ho-hum, whatever, let's move on to the next season. And this is one of the better teams that we've seen in the history of the NFL.
I think part of it just could be, I think location. I mean, it's Seattle. I think that's, unfortunately, I think that's part of it. They're not, they're not in the national spotlight like a California team or a New York team. I think that's a little part of it. I think the other thing is, even though they had guys that won all kinds of awards, I don't think they're a name team. They don't have that one superstar. I mean, they really don't. They're getting there. I mean, Jackson Smith Njigma, oh my gosh, is getting there.
You and Drewski struggled with that.
Yeah,
one.
But there's still, it's like, it's not like that. I'll use, like, T's favorite team, Kansas City. It's not a Patrick Mahomes, it's not a Travis Kelce. They don't have that name guy even on their defense. If you went to general and NFL fan and say who's the best defender on Seattle, what would the answer be? Who would you get? I mean, they just don't have, I think, that star power.
T, what do you think?
Well, I think that's part of it, but I think it's also for people who aren't paying attention. That's just a lazy way out of it too, right? I mean, Max bang on. That is the reason they're not exciting. They play a bunch of 4:00 Eastern games. They don't move the needle as far as excitement goes. But dang, they just take care of their business and they take care of it well. And you're probably going to map this out in a little bit, how they methodically put this team together on purpose, the way that they've done it.
It's like you can tell the future there, man.
And so, and they had their period with the star guys, with Money Lynch and Russ and the Legion of Boom, and then they went through a lean year or two, maybe. And now they're building that star power back. I mean, I don't see any reason why this team is built for the long haul. This team is built for multiple runs, as long as they can keep everybody together. So, if you're not paying attention, you watch next year, watch how many primetime games they get, and that'll tell you whether or not they're moving the needle.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what puts it in even better context for me, guys, and Mac, I kind of mentioned this a little bit last night. I saw somebody on X post that, the 3 best teams in the league, 1, 2, and 3, were Seattle, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. And I said, I don't necessarily know if I agree that San Francisco was the 3rd best team in the league. I would definitely call them a top 6. But when you look at the division in totality and what Seattle had to do just to get out of that division, you're talking about 3 teams in the Niners, Rams, and Hawks back that went 44-15. They've got 5 Super Bowl appearances out of the NFC West in the last 8 years. You had the MVP, the comeback player of the year, the offensive player of the year, all in that division. Now they have a league-leading 11 Super Bowl appearances since the year 2000. Just the path to get to the playoffs for the Seahawks out of their own division makes it even more impressive.
I mean, why wouldn't you say that it's the best division? I mean, let's be honest. What other 3 teams can you put in there that have had the success that these 3 teams had? I mean, it's really hard. I mean, it reminds me of the time, like I think of like the old East. NFC East, when you had Dallas and Philly and the Giants in the heyday, like that's kind of what it reminds me of. And then if you think about it, they're kind of built like that. Teams but all those teams were really good defensively. They ran the ball well. They had a good. I mean, there's a lot of similarities when you start looking at that. But I mean, what other, like you said, what other division can compete with what these 3 teams have done?
Yeah, and from the looks of it, at least on paper, and we're going to get to some of the key free agents in this NFL offseason here a little bit later in the program. I mean, you would venture to guess that all 3 of these teams are going to be just as damn good next year. Obviously, there's some issue or some contract things that need to be sorted out with the Seahawks, and we'll get to those here in a couple minutes. But yesterday, Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks, introduced as the new head coach of the Raiders. And I noticed something yesterday that was really kind of, and it got me down a rabbit hole when I woke up randomly at 4 o'clock in the morning this morning, which was super fun. Let me tell you about that. But when you look at this, and I know, T, you're going to be the contrarian here because you are part of Silver and Black Nation, if you will, but I think you'll see the similarities here. The press conference was different yesterday. It wasn't just a general manager and a head coach. They had quite the display up there. There was a different buzz in the building, and obviously when you have an offensive coordinator coming in to be head coach, that's going to create a lot of buzz, especially when he's coming off of a Super Bowl victory. But when I look at this team from an offensive standpoint, he's already kind of got a guy very, very similar to Kenny Walker. And calm yourselves out there because I'm not calling Ashton Genty Kenny Walker. And there's a lot of holes for the Raiders, but just follow me down my rabbit hole. I had to go through it. Now you're going to go through it with me. He's got a Kenny Walker and Ashton Genty. He's got a guy in A.J. Barner that didn't put up great numbers, but was very key for them, especially down the stretch. You saw it in the Super Bowl. He's got, I think, a little better version of that in Brock Bowers. They need to draft their version of Jackson Smith and Jigba, and those guys aren't just sitting there hanging off of trees. Mm-hmm. But the Raiders should be modeling what they're doing exactly how the Seahawks did, because in the last 4 drafts for the Seahawks, Charles Cross, Boye Mafe, Kenny Walker, that was 2022. Devin Witherspoon, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Derek Hall and Zach Charbonnet, 2023. Byron Murphy, 2024. Gray Zabel, Nicky Minwari, and Christian Arroyo. Elijah Arroyo. I don't know why it's Christian Arroyo. See, we talked about him last night, and it's got me all screwed up. Those were all guys that played significant roles in the Super Bowl for the Seahawks. And, T, I know there's a lot of holes, which will lead us to our next point here, but there's a very clear pathway. If Kubiak brings some of that Seahawk culture, the biggest thing that the Raiders are missing as a whole, with him to Las Vegas, I think there's a pathway to follow kind of the same plan here.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, and you would think that they've tried to do this last year, and it didn't really work the way that they thought it would. But yeah, I mean, look, this is a model franchise. They have been very successful for the past 20 years. And so why wouldn't you want to model your team after that? And getting Kubiak, that's going to be nice. You guys know my position on coordinators. They're nice. Sometimes they're just better coordinators than they are head coaches, but they all need to have a chance. So give this guy a chance and see. I haven't watched the entire presser just yet. I've had a couple of things going on. But, I mean, this team's going to have $88 million in cap space. 88. There's only one team that has more, and that's the Tennessee Titans, who arguably have as many holes as the Raiders do. So this is an opportunity to go out there, make a statement. Yeah, they need a lot of players. We've known this for years at this point. All they've been doing is trying to band-aid things up. So, yeah, I mean, this I think what you're seeing though, Mike and Mac, is you're finally seeing the Tom Brady influence full on this team.
That's exactly it. And Mac, last night we talked about the elephant in the room, which is the situation with Max Crosby. And when I took this rabbit hole at 4 a.m, I found another similarity. Max Crosby is essentially the Raiders version of the Seahawks dumping Russell Wilson and what you can bring back for him. And in that context, Mac, I almost think it's a have to for the Raiders, and there will be no shortage of suitors, Mac, for Max.
What he's saying that, yes, you're right, Mike. There will be no shortage of suitors, and Max is going to look great in one of these Bahama Mob shirts.
That's what I'm going to say. Goodness gracious.
Hey, T did it once in your honor while you were gone, too, so don't feel bad.
I know. Yeah. It's all good. No, I think Max should be traded, not because you want to trade him. It's because of the haul that you can get back. He's going to get you some either some high-end draft picks or a good player and some middle round draft picks. And I think at this point, and I said, I was like, the Raiders probably aren't going to be contenders next year. It's going to take a couple of years to kind of get there. And so why not maximize, what you can? I mean, how many times, and it's hard when it's our team, right? We never want to see like the good players or our favorite players get traded or move on. But sometimes, it's like for the better of the team. I go way back, when the Celtics, when they had Bird and McHale and all those guys, like they said, trade us, get something for us. And Red didn't want to do that. Like he was like, no, we're gonna go with this. And it really set the franchise back, years. And I think this is an opportunity where the Raiders have some excitement, new coach, they got some good young players. This is a great opportunity where they can even fill, like you said, T, you even said it, they have a lot of holes. So let's fill some of those holes.
Do you want to keep going down the rabbit hole, guys?
Let's go. You never know what we'll find. Peter, Roger.
Jesus. Seattle played a game of Russian roulette at quarterback, T. If you think about it, if we go back and we follow this trait here, and it's ironic, there is one guy that ties to both sides of this story. But you go Wilson to Geno, Geno to Sam Darnold, and with Sam Darnold, they struck gold. Now, can Sam Darnold duplicate what he did last year? I would think so, because all the pieces are still there. There is a big hole to fill at offensive coordinator. It'll be interesting to see what Mike McDonald does with that. But in the Raiders situation, you have Derek Carr gone, then you bring in Geno Smith. Ironically, Geno Smith's former team wins the Super Bowl. Geno Smith's current team has the number 1 pick in the draft. And I see a lot of similarities. And again, these are just similarity traits. But if you look at Fernando Mendoza and you look at Sam Darnold, I think you can see a lot of similarities there. This rabbit hole actually turned into like, you almost would think I was a damn Raider fan this morning. But I see a lot of the same things in Mendoza that you see in Sam Darnold. Mendoza might be a little better, I think obviously better with his feet, but his decision-making, his arm strength to throw the ball down the field, there's a lot of stuff there, and I'm very intrigued by this hire. I already want to be in September because I thought the Raiders had some pieces in place. Clearly they didn't last year, and culture is the thing there. But from a quarterback standpoint, Seattle played that game of Russian roulette, and while it didn't look great at first, 2 years later, when the cream rises to the top, boom, here we go, T.
Well, and then with a guy like Kubiak, you have to be willing to give him 3 or 4 years, not like what you did to Pete Carroll and blow him out after 1 year. But yeah, you're right, man. There's a lot of similarities here. My thoughts on Mendoza are very clear at this point. I hope that I'm wrong on every single one of them if he goes to Las Vegas. It's one of those things where, like Sam Darnold, I'm going to say he is. He is one step above Trent Dilfer. But Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Okay? And if your team, all of our teams are valued based on how many times you win a championship. I don't care if it's freaking Joe Bag of Donuts behind center. If he gets this team to a Super Bowl, I am all in. So, bring Mendoza in, see what happens. My concern, though, is like, let's just hypothetically say they draft Mendoza number 1. You giving him the ball the first game, or do you bring somebody in? And if you bring somebody in, who do you bring in? Because the quarterbacks that are there now are not impressive.
The best quarterback that's there right now, you have to make a trade for. I think a lot of people would say it's Mac Jones based on what he did last year, but he's not a guy that's freely available, so it's an interesting spot. Last one here on the Raiders before we transition into something else I know T loves to talk about, the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James. And I'll go Mac, we'll go TJ here. And TJ kind of already alluded to this, Mac, but when I watched that press conference yesterday, coming off of what we saw the Seahawks do and how they built it out, I really kind of felt like for the first time that the Raiders are actually under Tom Brady's influence right now, and it was all over everything yesterday. Well,
I mean, that's a good thing because, whatever influence they've been under over the last couple of years that hasn't been good. So let's just put
Under this
yeah.
influence.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, something has to change, and so I mean, listen, is Tom Brady going to be a good executive? I mean, time will tell. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. But again, I don't know Tom Brady, but he just has that feeling as though that everything that he kind of touches turns to gold, if you will. He's not a person that's going to put himself out there for failure, no matter what it is. And so, if that's the case, is he? My thing is he the one making the decisions? I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, it can be the look, but like, who's been making the decisions for the Raiders, truly making the decisions, and who's making them now? I think that's what we have to really look at. And is it Brady? Is it going to be the new head coach? I mean, we don't know, but I mean, as long as it's not what the old regime had, I think it's going to be better than what they've had.
Well, I can tell you who's been making the decisions. All you have to do is check the PF Chang's tabs, and you'll know who's making the decision. But here's something that we need to remember here. This is Spytek's second coach already. Mm-hmm. So this better be the one, or it's going to be and we've talked about how many coaches they've had since they've been in Vegas. I believe this is the 7th coach going into their 6th season in Las Vegas, going into their 7th season. I'm sorry, in Las Vegas.
Absolutely crazy.
So, it's ridiculous.
But they've also gone through general managers. This is their 4th general manager, I believe. So, I mean, something has to give here. And if Spytek's Brady's guy, well, he's already used his mulligan, man. He used it last year. This better be the hire, and this better be the home run.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think there's everybody in Raider Nation agrees with you there. About 15 minutes from now, we'll be into the NHL as always on the program. Again, feel free to comment along if you're watching along. Last night, Victor Wembanyama single-handedly took out the Los Angeles Lakers, and don't come at me. I know they didn't have Reeves, they didn't have Doncic, they didn't have LeBron James, but I don't think it really mattered if you had Shaquille O'Neal and everybody else on the floor last night. Wemby goes for 25 points in the first 8 minutes. First 8 minutes of the freaking game last night. He scores 40 in only 26 minutes of action last night with 12 rebounds as San Antonio just absolutely dismantles LA 136-108. And it leaves us at an interesting position because we know the situation. And T, you've been waiting for this one. You've been talking about this one. The Lakers are being held hostage by their situation here. And there's two things. Are we surprised about this? No, we shouldn't be, because here we have a $52 million 41-year-old that doesn't play a lick of defense. So you can't build the team around the 26-year-old who's making $54 million. And he's also a defensive liability here. This is not a team that's going to go very far. If you ask LeBron James, as they did after the game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, he said, we're not a playoff team. What are you doing in Los Angeles? Like, between the Clippers and the Lakers right now, you talk about two teams that are ass backwards in how they run the franchise. These are the two right here. I don't think anybody fears the Lakers if they get to the playoffs. And their record does not indicate where they're at. Their record is really good. But right now, with where they're at, T, the floor is yours, man. I know you've been waiting for this one.
Well, but let's not forget, too, they're still in the middle of this transfer of power from the Buss family to the new owners whoever, I forget who it is, but I know they have Dodger ties. But they fleeced the Mavericks. They absolutely fleeced the Mavericks in getting Doncic because the Mavericks didn't want to pay Doncic. I respect that. That's fine. But you're right. This team, they're listening to the wrong people. The wrong person is in charge. If you want LeBron to make decisions, give him the GM job and fire Rob Pelinka and get him off the floor and let him make GM decisions. This team is never going to be serious until he is gone. He got the one title, which if you want to put an asterisk next to it, that's fine. The hottest team in the bubble was the Phoenix Suns, and they weren't able to even sniff the championship. But whatever. This team is a complete tire fire. And to be honest with you, if I was going to spend my money on basketball in the Southland, and I would probably just take my money and go spend it on Cal State Fullerton or something, because these two teams are so awful. Like, I'm looking at the stat line from yesterday. I'm looking at the guys that the Lakers put on the floor, and I'm like, this is a who's who of who the hell are you besides Hachimura and Timmy? Like, who are these guys?
Yeah, it was funny, man, especially if you were somebody that was smart enough to take the Spurs minus 8.5. Not to take us off topic, but I find this hilarious here, Mac. You want to answer that, since I know you couldn't see it come through?
Frozen or fresh are fine. Either one will work.
But she wants to know how many here.
At least 4.
Yes.
There you go. T was closest. All right, Mac, back to the Lakers here, who are about as useless as frozen or fresh strawberries right now. Like, where do you go if you're the Lakers? You're really going to watch your team just end up not in the playoffs this year, because that's the direction that they're headed.
Well, I mean, I don't know that they're not going to make the playoffs, because, the bottom of the West is absolutely, even worse for God. Yeah, thank you. I'll tell you.
We do everything on this show, man. We do everything. You got a grocery. If you're in the grocery store watching us, feel free to ask us anything you want to know.
Just so you know, the strawberries are for tomorrow. I'm doing a DNA extraction lab, and I am extracting DNA from strawberries. So they're for work. So that's why I need the strawberries.
You want to talk about the train coming off the tracks?
All right, but I mean, here's the thing. I mean, who's going to pass the Lakers? Memphis, Dallas, Utah, New Orleans, Sacramento. I mean, no. I mean, so by default, the Lakers are going to make a playoff game, and that's about it. But I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't know if I agree with you there, because I'm looking at the teams coming up from behind. Maybe make the play-in tournament. Well, I don't think they're going to miss. Favorite. Yeah, I don't think they're going to miss entirely the playoffs. So I should have put that in proper context.
Right. Well, and that's why I said
But I think they're destined for the playoff tournament.
Yes. And that's why I said it would be like a game.
Playoff, whatever. You know what I was
talking about. A game. But I mean...
Billy V checking in. Yep.
Thanks.
I'm the one trying to steer this drunken ship right now.
Jason Crow. But I mean, this is like, what? Honestly, like 4 years old. Like I'm done with LeBron. I'm like, this should have been done years ago. Again, here's the situation, and it's just what we said with the Raiders and Crosby. The Lakers had a chance to get rid of LeBron at a time where LeBron could actually play good basketball. He doesn't and can't anymore. You're not going to get anything for him anyway. So you screwed yourself. I don't really care. Good for the Lakers. Make the playoffs, don't make the playoffs. You're a terrible organization right now.
Yeah, go ahead, T.
I'm sorry. I want chaos. You know what I want? You know what?
You came to the right show.
Yeah.
I want the Lakers and Clippers to play in a play-in game against each other. This is what I want.
Could they play it at the Forum, like the OG Forum, though?
They can't anymore because they've reconfigured the inside for shows. But, I mean... just give me all the chaos here with this.
Well, both teams are old as hell, man. If you play it in a reconfigured arena for shows, it's a shorter court. It might be a better thing,
And here's the thing: probably half those players wouldn't play in the playoff game anyway because they'd need a rest.
Oh Jesus, here we go. Well, let's speak of that actually here, and I got to give a shout out to Evan Canty of Unsportsmanlike on ESPN, because when I was up chasing the Raider rabbit hole, they brought this up too, and I thought it was fascinating. And I absolutely agree with him. The NBA calendar is jacked to all hell right now, because this is the first week, and I kind of talked about this on our social channels a little bit before the show here. This is the week where a lot of people start tuning into the NBA for the first time. Some people start watching at Christmas, but a lot of people now, it's because we're done with football. And the NBA calendar is a shit show. And Evan Canty's point on it was, The first time people are watching your product, essentially for the year, Monday night we have an all-out brawl where one dude gets off the bench with ice packs on his knees and jumps into the fray. He's suspended for 7 games, beef stew. A guy who a lot of teams would probably want on their team because he doesn't put up with bullshit. That's the first thing we see. Mac, you and I talked last night about what we got to watch Monday night before I left the McKenzie compound and what college basketball gave us on Monday night, the first chance that they really had to get some eyeballs here. The trade deadline should not be Super Bowl week. The trade deadline should be this week. We've got guys already planning vacations because of the All-Star break coming up. We've got guys that are still not quite to their new teams yet, so we're seeing teams like Sacramento's basically running out. I think we're going to be late for the game tonight, and then 2 other jamokes they found up in the stands because everybody else is sitting. The All-Star game, according to Canty, and I love this idea, he thinks should be played in between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl because there's nothing else going on that week. And then right here, all of the stuff that's going on last week and all of these moves and will Giannis move, you would have had the entire world's attention this week. Not a good start when you're first getting eyeballs from Adam Silver here. This thing is a mess. Mac than T.
Well, the NBA is a mess, and we've said it kind of from the start. I mean, at the beginning of the year, you had all these teams that were just, can't find ways to win.
Fucking strawberries is the most popular thing on the show tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna finally be trending like worldwide, and it's gonna be because of strawberries.
Without you making fun of me in Wimbledon, ironically.
Exactly, but I mean. And here's my point that I said that, we're talking about expanding the NBA. I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't. I don't think you have a great product as it is. And now you're looking to expand it and water it down even more. I think it's a bad move. Right now, I mean, you talk to people, most people are going to want to watch college basketball instead of professional basketball. That's the truth.
You two are really not making friends tonight in the Pacific Northwest. One of you doesn't want to see the Sonics back right now, and the other one thinks that Seattle's not a big enough market to grab any attention. Or maybe that was both, Mac. I don't remember at this point because all I can think of is strawberry shortcake for some damn reason. But it is, T. It's a colossal friggin' disaster right now. And I don't think Mac's point is far off with the expansion.
No, I don't think it is either. And there's a lot of problems with a lot of sports calendars right now that need to be rectified. And we talk about evolving the game. We want to put in these new rules or we want to change things up. But one of the most basic things that can be changed is the bloody calendar. And nobody wants to do it because it's always been that way. That's the biggest, that's probably other than the NIL and instant transfers in college sports, the damn calendar is completely out of whack. You got the same thing going on in the NBA. It seems like a very easy fix. And look, the NBA is nice and fun, and I'm glad they're getting all their money. But there's going to be a course correction, and I think we're starting to see it right now. And I think expansion is just the absolute worst thing to happen. And I want the Sonics back, for the record, but maybe not right now. Because I don't think I agree with Mac. It's not a good product. Not right now.
Well, no, and the other thing that's not helping the product, and Canty on Unsportsmanlike this morning added this to it as well. You've got 9 teams that it's plain as effing day pre-All-Star game that are intentionally tanking. I mean, you've got Sacramento, you've got New Orleans, you've got Dallas, you've got Memphis, you have Milwaukee, you have Chicago. And that's giving Chicago too much credit for them to be smart enough to have a plan smart enough to tank because they've had no plan. And then you've got Indiana and Washington, and they did make a couple of trades for the betterment of their future, but that's not going to stop them from tanking now. Mac, we talked about this on Monday night with college basketball. This incoming draft class is extremely intriguing. But then there's Utah. And TJ, for the people that don't understand a reference you've made on this show very many times about what beer is like in Utah, will you explain that to people that are not familiar with it? Because it makes total sense to exactly what the Utah Jazz are giving you right now.
So when I went to the Olympics in 2002, I walked into the suite they had to change the name from the Delta Center to the Ice Hockey Arena because of advertising. But, the Olympics are the most corrupt business on the next to FIFA. But anyways,
True that.
so I opened the cooler to get a drink, and I look at the side, and it's a Heineken, and I'm like, yes, Heineken. And I read the label, and it says not to exceed 3.2% alcohol. Because that's what you're getting with Ryan Smith's old toy right now is 3.2% alcohol.
And it's almost exactly accurate because we're seeing in Mac, we talked about this with the Jazz last night. Mm-hmm. They're literally playing like they're trying to win. And in the fourth quarter, we're not calling timeouts. No Lauri Markkanen, no Jaren Jackson Jr., we're literally tanking as their jersey sponsor or forehead sponsor at this point, and we're just watching it. I can't wait to hear what Adam Silver says at the State of the NBA address this week.
You're going to be a little disappointed because that's not anything he's going to talk about. He's going to talk about, the one or two good things that are there. He's not going to talk about the fact that, you look at the bottom of the Western Conference. I got the standings up in front of me. Look at these. Memphis Grizzlies, the last 10 games, 2-8. Dallas, 2-8. Utah, 2-8. New Orleans running away with it, 5-5, and then Sacramento 0-42. It's just awful. You talk about. If this is the league is like this because it's so top heavy. There's nothing in this. There's compare it to hockey. Because that's their competition right now. Hockey's not upside down. Basketball, NBA is upside down.
Am I reading this right? Wait, hold on. I'm looking at Ryan Smith's old toys seasons for the last umpteen years. They blew out Quinn Snyder after he wins back-to-back division titles, and this team is, not counting this year, 86 games under 500?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the f*** is going on here?
Nobody knows. We all know because we're smart enough to see it, but nobody wants to admit it.
Right.
Oh my God, this is an abomination.
It's miserable. And again, back to the whole point of how we started this conversation. The first week that everybody's watching your product this is what you give them until Thursday, and then we take time off for an all-star game that seemingly changes more than I change my underwear, which with my diet is pretty frequent, but we don't need to get into the rest of that. Speaking of a show that's already gone off the rails, I don't know if you guys saw this one, but I thought it was hilarious. Norwegian biathlon bronze medalist confesses to cheating on girlfriend in post-race interview. Bro, if there was a better definition for time and place, this was... I had to rewind it 4 times to make sure I was actually hearing what I was hearing. And I did not partake in to use something from Pat McAfee here, I did not partake in the local vitamins when I was up at the McKenzie compound. So I know I was perfectly within my sane thoughts. Like, dude, ironic that I remembered this and it came up for this show because it's perfect timing because between strawberries and admitting infidelity on an Olympic podium, which is kind of ironic if you really think about that. Do you have anything to say to this poor dude who timing was just about as bad as you can get, T? I know you have life advice for these situations.
Bro, just know. We don't need to know these things. Go about your competition. If you're having a hard time with this, then, find the flesh. I don't know, it's just like... There's no winners here. There's only losers. Straight up, only losers.
He was playing the competition. That's what put him in the position in the first place.
But what cracks me up is, biathlon. Like, once...
Easy.
Okay.
I had a good feeling I knew where you were going there, and T stopped at flesh and his. We were fine. We were skating on good ice there. No, we're not going down that road. We've already gone too many of those.
Zamboni's coming out. Here we go.
Yeah.
Is that where you run and shoot? I think that's what it is.
This is your wife's fault. This all started with strawberries.
Oh,
All right, last one here, and we'll get back into some hockey talk. Feel free to comment along if you're watching along. If you're still watching along, you deserve a medal because I don't know why you are at this friggin' point. The Texas Rangers have just ended in stadium promotions.
Gosh.
They put the entire sports world in a body bag. You are seeing that right. This is a promotion for the Texas Rangers this year. The Nolan Ryan bloody shirt replica giveaway.
Nice.
Dude, is that not like something that should be in whatever fine art facility you can think of?
I think the only thing better would be if they had the Robin Ventura, Nolan Ryan bobblehead.
Oh.
Right?
With actual blood?
Yeah.
Which could be made from the juice of strawberries.
Yeah, in the head like this with the headlock. I mean, that would be a great bobblehead. As you punch the head's moving like this.
Strawberry juice falling from his lip.
Go ahead. I was gonna say that's the only thing I think could beat it.
You know what's funny though is most people don't remember that didn't even happen because of a fight. That was just a bad bounce that got him in the face. So
yep.
But that is iconic, and unfortunately, I think I'm going to a concert that night, or I would be going to go get that because that is one of the, on a scale of 1 to Bill Veeck, that is just right up there with giveaways.
Oh, dude, as soon as I saw that this morning, I wanted to call you guys right away. I wasn't even going to text you, and then I looked at what god-awful time I saw it this morning. But yeah, any other in-stadium promotion is going to suck compared to that going forward. All right, let's get into some hockey talk on a Wednesday, of course. And last week, we kind of teased this. We ran out of time to get to it. Wanted to do it when all three of us were here, and all three of us are here. So this comes from a tweet from B_Marsh92, Brett Marshall on X, about the freaking 3-2-1 point system. Oh, yeah. Well, that would make me actually go to the Baseball Hall of Fame and would be really cool because I wouldn't actually have to go in. This tweet, though, and we've talked about this a lot, and the Vegas Golden Knights are carrying the flag for this year, but he goes on to write, and it's retweeted on our X page. I'll do it again after the show. How important is the NHL's loser point in playoff standings? Breaks it all down, and he goes in depth on this thing here, and if I had enough space to show the whole thing here, I would. The biggest beneficiaries right now of the current way that the point system is in the NHL, the New Jersey Devils, the Boston Bruins, and the Anaheim Ducks. The biggest losers, Vegas, Los Angeles, the Kings, and the Pittsburgh Penguins, if it was set up in not the current format that it is right now. T, you've talked about this a million times with the Knights this year, and the loser point, and the way just the Pacific Division itself stands. This is nonsense. And for a sport, we just talked about a sport that's fumbling the bag on getting eyeballs after NFL season. For a sport that has gained momentum, this is the biggest thing that the newbies to hockey are going to hate.
The 3-2-1 system just makes sense. It equalizes. It does a couple of things. Number one, it equalizes the loser point here. And it also provides incentive for you to go after the win. Think about how many times you've watched a game and there's about a minute left and it's 3-3 or 4-4, and the team is like, you know what? I'm getting a point. You're getting a point. We'll just settle this in 5 minutes. And it's okay. So you can't really stop anybody from doing that as a strategy right now, but a 3-point win versus a 2-point win in overtime would give you that pressure, if you will. Especially, could you imagine late in the season, like game 81 or 82, and you need you're 2 points behind, say you're Seattle and you're 2 points behind the Kings, but if you win in regulation that you can tie the Kings. I mean, think of how exciting it makes the end of season games from that standpoint. But it does equalize everything out. Like you look at, and I've told the entire Pacific Division except for the Ducks, is basically under 500. But the Vegas Golden Knights are in first because they're the better losers.
Yeah, and what a concept, Mac, when we talked about gaining eyeballs and stuff. It also makes the end of even regular season games way more exciting because you're doing whatever it takes to go after that point.
I take it one step further. I'll give you 3 points for a win, and here's the deal. If you lose, you lose. You don't get any points. Why are we giving points for losing at all? I mean, I like it back to where it was. You got points for a win or a tie. That was fine. I was all right. But all this, screw it. You lose, you lose. You don't get any points. That's how I look at it. Why give a team a point because well we have a regulation win. We're going to give you a point. You didn't win. You didn't win. Let's points if you win. No points if you lose. That's it. Before you know it, we're going to be handing out. Well, they didn't win the Stanley Cup, but they had ties, so let's give them a trophy too.
We already do that. It's the President's Trophy.
Yeah, don't remind me. That brings up PTSD.
No, I mean, things need to evolve, and I know that people look at the Boston Bruins season a couple of years ago. That 134 points or whatever it was, and yes, those numbers they still need to be in. So, like 65 wins should mean something. But I mean, if you're the Anaheim Ducks right now, are you not royally pissed that you have to fight for a wild card berth when a team that's if you were just counting wins and losses, that you're 4 games better than in the standings, doesn't have to worry about it. That's just
it's completely ridiculous. Yeah, it absolutely is, and it'll be interesting to see. So great tweet there, and again, there's way more. We could have went an hour just on the detail he put to the reasoning behind this. So B_Marsh92 here. Mac, T and I last week, we made our dark horse picks for the Olympics. Obviously, you get a little bit of an advantage because we had a couple games in play today. Not like I think anything that happened today really mattered. T went with Czechia. By the way, Czechia, we didn't call it Chechnya to the guy who had time today to say we pronounced it wrong on YouTube. No, we said it right and even spelled it right on the captions. T went with Czechia, not Chechnya. I went with Finland. Who do you got as a dark horse here? Because obviously all the attention goes to the U.S. and Canada, but who do you got?
Yeah. Well, I missed that last week, so I didn't know what you guys said. And so I was working on this today, and I was putting down my notes and kind of making this sound really, really good. And then I had a few extra seconds, so I flipped up ESPN and realized, oh, crap, they lost. I had Finland, and they already lost. So I don't know what kind of dark horse that is. Maybe it's a dead horse, more like instead of a dark horse. But I thought Finland was going to be a good pick. They're a pretty experienced team. They got some guys that can put the puck in the net. They have a good defensive team, decent goaltending. I'm like, and they're always in the running for medals anyway. I thought it would be a good pick, but I don't know. I think that horse is passed already.
I hope everybody watching out there didn't go through the technical matrix vortex that we went through when that was going on, because that was the longest explanation ever because everything was glitching. So our apologies there. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, again, I don't think any of us would be surprised if it's the U.S. and Canada. I think how it shapes itself out, we could be surprised. But go ahead, Mac.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of other really good teams. I also like Sweden. I think Sweden's pretty good. But I mean, overall, I think, oh my gosh, what just happened? Finland would be good.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you there. Last week, we talked about some teams on the outside that we thought could get in. This week, we'll look more at the teams inside the current playoff picture that we think can fall out here. T, I'll let you start here. Who's currently got a playoff spot that you don't expect to hold?
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop with the Utah Mammoth, and it's their forward group is outstanding. I think Logan Cooley is going to be back after the Olympic break, which will be good for them. But this defense, Sergachev and Jersey, and who you got? Because this is a defensive team that's not very great, and I think that's going to cost them later on. We've seen what happens. Like, we've seen former incantations of this team give up 40 shots a game, but the way that they would give up the shots was defense would clear out, and it's one-on-one goaltender and shooter, or the goaltender had an opportunity to see the puck. And the way this defense plays, I just don't think is effective for goaltenders like Vejmelka. So now there's no shade toward Vejmelka, but if you've ever watched Vejmelka play, he's all over the place in the crease. Like, that guy skates more in a hockey game than Corey Perry does. So I would like to see them upgrade on defense. Their goal differential, they're a plus 26, which is outstanding, but I'd like to see them upgrade before I'm going to pencil them in. I think they're going to fall out.
Very good job by you, like avoiding the obvious with Corey Perry there. Mac, it's interesting. A lot of stuff going on. I feel like we've morphed ourselves into an episode of Friends because this is going to be the one about the strawberries. Who's your team inside the playoffs, Mac, as we sit here? Which strawberries, I'm sure, are plenty in Milan right now. I mean, it's pretty cold. I don't know if you can grow strawberries in the weather. But who is your team on the inside that is going to fall out of the postseason picture?
You know what? I kind of look at the East, and I'm thinking, one of these teams is going to make a run. Washington, Florida is going to make a run. And so who would be the team out? I think the New York Islanders. For me, that's the team that I'm looking at. I think one of those teams could probably make a run, and I think I like the way Pittsburgh's playing. I even like the way Detroit's playing, but for me, that's the one team would be the Islanders that I'm a little worried about.
Interesting you say the Isles because I'm going to go 1 point ahead of you on top of your head there, and I think it's going to be Pittsburgh. We've talked about this a lot, T, and to the Western Conference's LA Kings, the Pittsburgh Penguins are to the Eastern Conference. Mm-hmm. They're old, and they've played great this year. Who's to say that coming out of the break, especially with Sid playing for Canada and playing extra time, playing extra games on old wheels, I just don't see the sustainability here. Mm-hmm. We talked about the Blue Jackets last week. I think they're coming for blood from where they're at. Mm-hmm. They've got all the momentum. Mac, you hit it on the head with Florida, Washington. I mean, there is a lot of heat coming from behind those teams in the Eastern Conference, T.
The Eastern Conference, I think you can. I'm only willing to say goodbye to the Devils and Rangers at this point. Like Florida, the injuries are just decimating that team. But how can you count them out? By the way, a better record than the Vegas Golden Knights if you're just counting wins and losses. But
you're in his head, Mac.
Yeah.
Are you gonna look at the standings, and Florida is 8 points out, but can you really say that they're out knowing what they've done in the past? Can you really say the Capitals are out knowing that what they have done in recent history and the run that the Blue Jackets, this is going to be they're going to beat the crap out of each other.
About 5 minutes from now, guys, we're going to get into the NFL side. But, T, that was a tremendous cross-ice pass from you here to go right into what I wanted to finish us up on when it comes to hockey here. One bold prediction from each of us for the second half. And I couldn't make up my mind, as you guys probably see on the rundown there. I've got 3 of them, so I'll let you guys start. If you got more than one, feel free to fire it off. We'll go T, then Mac here.
I think the Devils are going to clean house. Fitzy and Keefe are going to be looking for jobs come April. And I think Vegas misses the playoffs.
Oh. With all those loser points that they got, though, that should have got them somewhere. Mac?
Look, I agree.
Or T, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, they are – we talk about Florida's injuries. Vegas, I don't think has been healthy the entire season either. And especially I think the one that's the most underrated is injury to McNabb. That hurts the defense a whole hell of a lot. I don't even know if Rasmus Anderson can help them overcome it.
Bold prediction or two on the second half, Mac.
I think somebody catches and passes the Avalanche for the top team in the league.
Oh, that would be one hell of a chase down right now.
Well, yeah.
It is a bold prediction, though.
You wanted bold. I get bold.
I was stuck here, guys, on a couple of them, and you guys kind of we just spent a little bit of time, extended time, talking about the East. I think the Panthers are going to win the East again, and it looks crazy from where they're at. But Mac, you've made this reference so many times, and because of the way tonight's show goes, I'll tweak it a little bit. But the Panthers often remind me of a team that sits at the table and plays with their strawberries because all they need to do is get a seat at the proverbial table, and they're as dangerous as anybody because they're going to get reinforcements and stuff. So with the people that have to be run down in the East and the layout of the East, I could very much see that happening. Second one is I'm expecting kind of TJ's bold prediction in the West. I'll take it to a different part of the West that's been really good. I'm waiting for this thing in Edmonton to absolutely blow up. And if you missed Leon Dreisaitl's comments the other night, he was asked about the team's struggles, and he put it right on the coaching staff and did not mince words. Literally said, starts with the coaching. And then maybe this is a little personal, but if Mac's prediction reigns true, that somebody does run down the Avalanche, and if the San Jose Sharks qualify for the playoffs, that Macklin Celebrini wins the Hart Trophy. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts as we finish hockey, though, on the situation in Edmonton. This time we'll go Mac, then T, and we'll move on.
Is this a situation that's just been building for the last couple of years? I mean, is that kind of what it's finally kind of reached a head, and something's going to explode? I mean, I kind of feel that that's where we are. It's like I think, the players know. I think this is just a buildup of the last couple of years.
I mean, for a team that's been basically a game and a goal away from winning 2 Stanley Cups, I agree with you, Mac. This has been building. So they make the change up front on the bench, and Knobloch leads them to a cup final. This year, we've seen the mess in goal. So they've completely overhauled the goaltending. They're not better.
Nope.
They rely on 2 guys too much, and we've seen that doesn't work. They have to find the depth players, and they're not doing it. And as long as they keep rolling these 4 big dollar guys out there and a whole bunch of Joe Blows, this is what they're going to get.
It was what? Yari's former teammate, and I can't remember the dude's name now. Didn't he call him Swiss cheese the other day when he got to his new spot? I mean, it just as bad gets there. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how the Olympic break, and we've talked about that a lot, how it takes a toll on teams like the Sharks, young and no muscle memory, and now they're sitting, and how it takes a toll on the teams that have veterans there that are playing their asses off for their countries. So plenty of stuff to look at there. Let's switch to the NFL here, guys. Field Yates, and I'm bringing up his mock draft here because A, I hate mock drafts, but B, when I do read them, because I want to stay kind of in the feel for what's going on, what these guys are hearing. I think Field Yates is about as dialed in when it comes to this as anybody. So I'm only going to go through the top 10 here, and I wanted to know what you guys thought stood out from this. So number 1, he has Las Vegas taking Fernando Mendoza. Number 2, Arvell Reese, the edge rusher from Ohio State, to the Jets. Francis Malaga from Miami, the tackle, headed to Arizona to the Cardinals. David Bailey, Texas Tech's highly paid edge rusher, to the Tennessee Titans for Robert Saleh. The Giants and John Harbaugh drafting Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State. Spencer Fano from Utah going to Cleveland. Carnell Tate, the wide receiver from Ohio State, going to Washington. Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State, going to New Orleans. Last 2, Jeremiah Love going to Kansas City. And our guy Reuben Payne going to the Bengals. So that's a lot of stuff there. And, here, we'll pull back the curtain. I sent this to the guys already this morning. So when you look at that 1 to 10, and let's take Fernando Mendoza off of this because that's the given. So we know Mendoza to the Raiders. So when we look 2 through 9 there, or 2 through 10, the other 9 picks, T and Mac here, was there one that stood out to you? Because there was one that jumped off the effing page to me.
Dude, the Jeremiah Love, if he was there at 9, is going to be an absolute fleecing of the draft. And you guys know what I think of the Kansas City Chiefs. But as this team starts to, and we don't know this for sure, but as this team embarks on a post-Travis Kelce or preparations for a post-Travis Kelce era, if you will.
I see what you did there.
This would be a fantastic pick. This would give him a dynamic running back. Like Pacheco's decent, but this guy, holy smokes, this guy would be like next level.
Speaking of eras, after this we are going to talk about free agents and where we would like to see them go. And it's not the only time the era of the Chiefs is going to be referenced. Mac, which stood out from you 2 to 10 on that list? And if it was the same, that was fine because that was mine.
We all watch Miami play, right? We all watch Reuben Payne play, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 9 guys better than him. I mean, seriously, I'm
That
asking.
was right where I was too.
I don't understand that. Like this guy almost single handedly found. I mean, he was an absolute beast all year, and I'm just thinking, you're gonna. There's that many guys better than him. I don't get it. I don't see it. I mean, if I mean, I look at the Giants like taking Caleb Downs. I'm like, man, wouldn't you want to put him in there with what they already have on defense? I'm like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just. The more I watch that guy, I mean, he disrupted everything. I mean, we saw what I mean. We just watched on Sunday what a defensive line can do, right? Why isn't this guy like the number 1 pick?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a couple other guys here that I think are kind of interesting fits. Washington's in a weird spot. Deebo Samuel's a free agent. The thought is maybe Brandon Ayuk ends there if the Niners make another trade with Washington. And ironically, Deebo Samuel rumored to be coming possibly back to San Francisco. It's funny how like one guy that used to work for the Niners is in Washington and they keep making trades together. What a concept. David Bailey to Robert Saleh's Tennessee Titans. I love that because Saleh's going to go right to the edge first to start to fix the Titans.
Right.
The Francis Moaga one to the Cardinals is another interesting one, as the Cardinals now, like the Raiders we were talking about earlier, try and morph into their like 17th, oh, this one's going to work version. And you've got Mike LaFleur here, who is a gap running scheme guy, as Field Yates points out, and why Moaga looks really good there. So that makes a lot of sense. Free agents, there is a million of them this year. Obviously, some of your biggest names are guys like Aaron Rodgers, and is he going to come back to Pittsburgh, which I hope the hell he does, because I want to see one last run with Big Mike and Aaron. And I know Mac's in the same position he was on the Steelers quarterback situation with Aaron Rodgers last year. If you go farther down in that mock draft by Field Yates, it's kind of ironic, Mac, because he brings up the Steelers as a team that's going to draft Ty Simpson from Alabama, and now we have Ty Simpson and Will Howard going up against each other for eventually the guy that probably replaces Aaron Rodgers. A million free agents. Where would you start? Where's a guy? Who's a guy? Here's a guy that you want to see go somewhere else, Mac.
I took this personal. I'm not going to lie. I was looking out for myself and my team. And I think one of the biggest listen, if you're going to bring in an offensive guy, you've got to get back to what the Steelers do, and they need to find a running back. So I took 2. I would take either one. Javonte Williams or Rico Dowdle, I think would be perfect for the Steelers. They need a big-time running back. That would be where I would look for the Steelers to go get somebody. I know they need receivers, but I think this draft class is full of receivers. Mm-hmm. I like this is a better place to go.
Very interesting that Mac went with 2 Cowboy guys, essentially, in that fill-in spot. Something you wouldn't expect from a Steeler fan. And it's okay to be personal, because I'll tell you one of mine here before you give whatever ones you have, T, here. This one was the entirely personal one. If you go through the list of guys on here, I went through edge rushers, and I went, get Boye Mafe the hell out of the NFC West. That's entirely personal for me. T, what do you got? Who do you want to see go somewhere else?
Well, the Raiders need everything, so anybody on the offensive line would probably be better than the freaking,
it's a good list.
The matadors that they have going right now. But ole, go get Gino. He sucks. We don't like him. But I was also thinking of my wallet, and we talked. And Mike, you made this a huge deal this year. The Buffalo Bills are doing all of this stuff that they're doing without a number 1 receiver. Go get Mike Evans if he doesn't want to be in Tampa anymore, if you can get 3 years out of him. Go get Rashid Shaheed. You saw what a difference maker he was for the Seahawks. Go get somebody that you can say, you're my number 1 receiver, and Allen's going to run all of his route readings through you. Go do it.
Yeah, I mean that, and you look at the list, and we've already heard that George Pickens is going to get tagged, but you've got Mike Evans, you've got Deebo Samuel, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jawan Jennings, the Brandon Ayuk situation, Alec Pierce, Rashid Shaheed, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Kirk. I mean, there are some names on that list too. The top name that I want to see go somewhere else because I believe in like hell in this guy, and I think the entire time he's been in the league, it's been a disaster for him at who's delivering the football to him. And you mentioned the fact that Field Yates says if Kansas City has a chance to draft Jeremiah Love at 9, it's going to happen. It's Kyle Pitts in Kansas City with Travis Kelce if he's playing another year or maybe 2. You imagine Pitts on the opposite side of Kelce? I don't really care, and it's kind of like what we were talking about with like the Kubiak situation. You've got Genty, you've got Bowers. You just need to find as close as you can to your version of JSN. I think Kyle Pitts in Kansas City would be like nightmare fuel for people because we know what college Kyle Pitts was. I know the NFL is a different game, but I don't think he's ever been given a good opportunity in Atlanta with a quality quarterback, especially like in the current situation. And if you followed his career's path, you know he's going to have 6 touchdowns next season no matter where he plays. Inside your betting tip there. There's a lot of interesting guys on this list, though, Mac. Was there anybody else that was, maybe not the top guys? Like, we're all expecting Trey Hendrickson's not coming back. Right. We can go through this, like Breece Hall. I mean, there's some really interesting names when you look at the entire UFA list.
Yeah, there is. There wasn't anybody that really kind of like stood out to me. They did seem like there was a lot of wide receivers for some reason that were in there, and running backs. The other one was like Travis Etienne, like who I don't know that he would. I don't know where he's going to go, but they did seem like there were quite a few running backs that were available out there. So it's going to be interesting to see some of these teams, especially with new coaches, a lot of new offensive coordinators that are now coaches. What changes they make. But that was for me. It just I didn't realize there was so many really good running backs available.
The one team, I think I'm looking at the most on this, especially when I go to the right side of the graphic, and this was compiled by the one we're referring to, compiled by Mike Clay at Mike Clay NFL. I want to see the Bengals attack the right side of this damn board because, we talked about the idiocy of what happens to Drake May if he loses the Super Bowl. Well, he's a second-year quarterback that got to the Super Bowl. The first thing everybody said back is, remember Joe Burrow, be cautious of what you... Listen, Joe Burrow's got a lot of football left in him, but give him a defense that... I'm not saying build him the Seahawks defense or a healthy Niners defense or Rams defense to go back to our NFC West thing. Just give him a defense that could stop a cold kid with a blanket every now and then on a Sunday.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that would be huge. I mean, they went through this whole dog and pony show with Hendrickson this year. Like, go get some guys who can play. Yes, Burrow has a lot of football left, but he doesn't have a lot of football left. And we saw what happened with Dan Marino when he got to the Super Bowl in his second year. So get this guy some help, man.
All right, let's take a look way ahead here. Just a few more minutes left in the program tonight. Again, all of you guys commenting along as you're watching along, thank you. Strawberries are a theme tonight if you missed it earlier. But let's talk about next year. As we see, the Rams and the Seahawks are co-favorites at 9.5 to 1 plus 950. Rams trying to play their second home Super Bowl in 6 years, where they last played the team we were just talking about, the Bengals here. Mac, I will be fair here. On the original instructions, I did not indicate this, but I saw what TJ did when he put his down here. So you start and give me 2 teams that you, right now, if you had to make a bet, you'd be like, these are 2 teams I feel like could play in the Super Bowl next year. And I'll tell you what the betting odds are on it because TJ just did extra credit because he's a show-off.
Well, I had a sleeper pick. And it wasn't a Super Bowl pick. I was happy with my Colts. The Colts looked pretty good. I thought I was going to pat myself on the back for the
You're going to try and attach yourself early here, huh?
Yeah, and so I'm going my sleeper to make the playoffs. And I want to clarify, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but to make the playoffs, my sleeper team is the New York Giants. Okay, Okay.
I think a very popular pick this year. It would
Yeah,
be.
I think that's good. But as far as next year in the Super Bowl, there's only one team that can win it, and that's TJ's Chicago Bears.
Oh man, could you imagine TJ? Well, at least he'll have the jersey for it to party.
I mean, I like what the Bears obviously did this year. I mean, so close, to moving on. I think they're moving in the right direction. I like what they're doing in all aspects. I think the Chicago Bears take the next step, and
Oh,
they're your Super Bowl champs.
I think I know what he's doing here. So, Mac, who do you think's going to get to the Super Bowl out of the AFC? And if you're really trying to ruin TJ's Super Bowl Sunday next year, I think there's one way you can do it to finish this off.
Well, listen, we know what's going to happen. We don't know if everyone's going to come back, but by all stretches of the imagination, I think it would be a Kansas City Chiefs Chicago Bears Super Bowl.
Actually, I thought you were going to say Chargers Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I think that
Or Chargers
Chiefs,
Bears in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Obviously
no,
can't happen.
Dude,
What would piss you off more, T? Chargers and Bears in the Super Bowl with the Chargers playing at home, or Chiefs and Bears in the Super Bowl with all the Chiefs fans very close to you?
dude, I'd be going to the golf course over here and be like, do you got a 3:30 tee time? And I'm going to be out there the entire night.
All right, T, give everybody your way too early Super Bowl prediction for next year, which is way more reasonable than what Mac just did.
we were talking about the free agents, and I said I was looking out for my wallet because I think a really good value here is Rams Bills at 30-1.
I think it's a great value. I think it's also going to be a highly popular pick next year. Mine's not going to surprise you. It's super easy. You should have seen it coming. It's Bills Niners plus 6,500 or plus 6,000. That's what I want to see. But when I'm looking at it right now, I'm looking at pairings and I'm literally, why I'm not looking at the camera, scanning it right now for every combination of who would play the Seahawks, because we know getting back to a Super Bowl was extremely difficult. It very much is. And the Seahawks do have contract questions. I mean, one of the jokes today at the parade was John Schneider with red Solo Cup in hand, pissed drunk to the world, said that he's like, how about Kenneth Walker, the MVP? And the crowd cheers. And he goes, Kenny was trying to negotiate his salary with me for next year like 5 minutes ago. I'm like, yeah, probably not a good idea. They also have, and I think it's interesting because you have the Rams and the Seahawks and the Niners. We've talked about the West a few times tonight. You've got the Rams in the position now with Puka Nacua that they have to make the decision. Do they let him play one more year or do they extend him? And the Seahawks kind of have a similar situation with Jackson Smith and Jigba. But the difference is Puka Nacua wasn't a first-round pick. So the Rams don't get one more year to try and sit there and figure it out. And I think those two things are very shape-worthy in the NFC picture and the NFL picture. You can't kick the can down the field when you don't have a first-round pick, and it complicates things.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I'm looking at this Rams team as this might be the Stafford swan song, and how badly they would love to send him out in a home Super Bowl game. So, yeah, the Rams have a lot of decisions to make. But can we go back to the GM of the Seahawks?
John Schneider.
What? Good for you for just having a time, just putting on a clinic of consumption and joy. Good for you. You earned it. Keep doing you.
Yeah, and it was fantastic to see today. There was a bunch of great shots, obviously a bunch of good sound clips and everything. One guy, as Mike McDonald's little float is passing by, has a sign up that says, I'm naming my kid Mike McDonald, and they showed the shirt, and it was the on-field shirt that the Seahawks wore. So I wanted to take this time specifically to express my thanks to Fanatics for the colonoscopy they gave me today when I ordered said shirt for Mama for her Super Bowl champion Seahawks. My ass still hurts. Hopefully I'll get it before the Thursday night kickoff in September. There's a lot of interesting things there. You went Rams and Bills, T, because of the value. Mac, with the uncertainty of the Chiefs situation, I don't think it's far-fetched, especially if you add Kyle Pitts and Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes is healthy down the stretch. I mean, all kinds of possibilities. The other short favorite for the Super Bowl right now is Buffalo and Seattle, plus 3,000. Then you've got Baltimore and Seattle at plus 3,500. So obviously the Seahawks and Rams are tied to a lot of these. Here's another interesting one. If we're looking at a team in the AFC, I think the Rams will be the most bet team to either make it to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl next year. I think the Chargers will get a lot more love than they should. But the Houston Texans, can they improve their offensive line? Can they keep C.J. Stroud upright? One of these on here that I saw that was kind of interesting was the Texans and the Seahawks, which is about a plus 5,500. I lost it here. Plus 6,000. You imagine that damn Super Bowl, Mac, with what we saw last weekend? That game might be 3-2. Would you consider that a good game, Vegas, Mac? Because technically you said last night if it was close, it makes it exciting.
It would, 3-2 versus Game 7 of the World Series. I mean, no, 3-2. Yeah, if only if the three came on a drop kick, field goal like that. Yeah, that would make it exciting. Get me Doug Flutie out there. There you go.
Yeah, all right. Plenty of stuff to talk as the NFL goes through their offseason. We're going to finish it up tonight with a little golf. And I want to give some props here. I'm super proud, like a proud dad of a young son. TJ went out on Monday. I think it was Monday. He sent a picture to me and Mac. Just with him holding a pink golf ball. TJ will not golf unless he has pink golf balls. The same guy that sold his golf clubs for a used bike. But he was out on Monday, and he only lost 10 pink balls in 18 holes. Now, here's what we don't know. He could have been on an executive course. He could have been at Top Golf. Or he could have been at a putt-putt. So, how was your golfing excursion on Monday before we talk about the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am? And fortunately, give an update on week 1 of Mike versus Mac that I'm very happy about.
As you know, I am not a consumer of golf accoutrement other than the aforementioned pink golf balls. On the first shot,
hell did you say, Cebu play?
On the first shot of the day, I hit the bejesus out of the ball and nearly broke my ankle because I fell over. Like I was Andrew Jones whiffing on a fastball.
I can't wait for September.
So
I haven't told him about that yet. Sure. Keep it in the bag, Mackenzie.
So that was that. But it was a fundraiser, so, write the check and swing a few times, have a good time.
Was it 18 full holes of golf?
18 full. There was a par 5, 614-yarder in there. We played from the tips. It was, yeah.
Did you get it a hundo off the tee on that one?
Oh, I got it.
And I'm not asking direction. Did you just get it a hundo?
Yes. We'll leave the direction out of it.
All right. AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am this weekend after the Wasted Management Phoenix Open with all its drama. We had Mike versus Mac drama going on. We had drama of some people that remembered their first beer and 17th beer all in the same day while they were taking naps. A crazy finish. Chris Gotterup gets another freaking win. At one point, we had Mac with the first place guy, the second place guy, me with the fourth place guy, and the eighth place guy. Jordan Spieth with his thumb up his ass because I don't know where the hell he was last weekend. Now we move on to Pebble Beach. And we are going to include T on some of these select Wednesdays, who is definitely not a golfer, but he is a gambler. As far as we go here, right now Mac has the lead 11-7. Do you want to drop your victory speech after week 1 here, Vegas Mac?
No, you know what? It's a long season. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We just all I'm going to say is
I figured that out on my cruise ship while I was looking out.
Well, I was going to say I'm not going to say anything, but I do see that there's already another booking on the Princess Cruise Line.
Son of a bitch! Give me your 3 picks for this week at Pebble Beach.
Hey, no, remember they're not just at Pebble this week. It's at Spyglass as well, and this is a hard one because you got a lot going on. Remember it's the Pro-Am, so that you've got that part of it too, so it makes it a little more difficult. My long shot for this week, I'm going with the man that we, on this show, we absolutely love this guy. Michael Kim, my wild card for this week.
Yes.
There is no doubt he is a show favorite. He has got to be one of the first guys we get on when we're talking golf. He's my one. I'm going to ride the hot hand for my top 10. I'm going to go Chris Gotterup. He's hot. I'm going to ride it. I mean, at some point, it's going to fall off. Boom. Whoa. Yeah. But
Claimed
listen,
him already in the segment. You just did me a favor. Keep going.
there you go. And my winner, I'm going with Cameron Young. I think he's going to get the win this week. I'm going with Cameron Young. So I got Young, Gotterup, and Kim. That sounds to me like a 1-2-3 finish.
I've already officially made my first pick in Mike versus Mac for the Masters. Thank you very much. TJ, what do you got on the links? Guys who don't play with pink balls.
Okay, so my long shot is Eldrick, and my top 10. I've got Tony Finau as my long shot. My top 10, I've got Tommy Fleetwood, and I had Hideki Matsuyama as my winner in the wasted management, and he fell a little bit short. He's pissed. He needs to make a statement. Got him winning this weekend.
Look at T dropping some golf knowledge on us there. On your head. Put that one on a poster. All right, I'm going with a guy, and again, my theme this year is going to be guys who are consistent as hell at specific golf courses. Last week, worked like a friggin' charm. Jordan Spieth, consistent top tens. Last week, 10 minutes to get the hell out of town in the airport after Friday's round. So we're going to stay with the same theme, because why not? Tom Hoge is my long shot this week. Guy who's played really, really well on both courses, Mac. Jason Day, another guy who's had a lot of success down there, for sure, for my top 10. And I'm going to go with a guy who's also gotten off to a really good start this year. I wanted to save him because of our segmentation, but I'm going to use him now because I love the start he's off to, and that's Rosie. Justin Rose is my winner there. So Rose, Day, and Hoagie.
I like the Jason Day pick. He was on my short list as well. And I was surprised that you went right out of the box with Scotty too. That's
it last year.
I know, and look what it got you. I'm just saying.
Look what it got me.
What
Never
size
seen a family consume more gallons of milk in my life than yours.
What size screen jacket does Scotty wear again? Just put me down for the mat. Put it down now in Sharpie. Here you go. Wait a minute. Yeah. Sharpie. Wait. That's not a Sharpie. Hold on.
Right.
Hold on. Wait, that's not a Sharpie either. Hold on. What did you do to this place? Jesus, you took all my Sharpies. Here.
I had to
Sharpie
make
it in.
space with all your Raider cups that were on your desk. We weren't really pull back the curtain here.
Hey, you know what? Hey, speaking of which, you should tell the story of the other cup that you found in my house.
Oh, this son of a bitch. I still have the picture somewhere. It's going to go into your montage. I'm trying to institute a 1 cup per night policy, T, with the children. As you well know, is a very wise policy as a parent. And I'm going through, and of course, Vegas Mac has as many, if not more, stadium collector's cups than he has Rando Sports t-shirts. And I pull this one out of the cabinet, and I go, you son of a bitch. It's a cup from Dodger Stadium with Clayton Kershaw on it. So I sent them a picture it was like a ransom note as I'm holding it over his trash can. And I'm like, I'm out. I'm going home right now. It felt like a dead setup. And then I was going to ask you here, since this show was off the rails an hour ago, all those fancy Raider cups, and as far as I know, T, you have not participated in a Raider game at the Death Star yet, correct?
That is correct.
Can you at least send the dude a cup? You got half the stadium's worth.
Yeah, okay. We can work on that. Here's the thing. None of them are mine.
Mama Mac would love it. It'd be one less crap cup in the house.
I know. They're all Jonathan's. He used to go, when we were in Vegas, he was going
blame
all
it
the
on
time.
the kid. That's a great strategy.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got to have a fall guy. Anything you would like to finish with their Vegas Mac tonight?
Give me an Olympic update. I have no idea what's going on in the Olympics. Give me something. Give me one thing.
We suck at the Winter Olympics. There's your update.
Besides the cheating scandal. What else?
The penis scandal?
Yeah.
We don't have enough time to go into that one. We suck at the Winter Olympics. That's your update.
All right.
T, am I missing anything?
I had one more. I have to ask T this question. T, listen, hockey's in the Winter Olympics, right? Because we play hockey right now. Why is basketball not in the Winter Olympics?
Oh, yeah, you did ask
question.
me that the other night.
That's a
Right?
fantastic
I mean,
question.
we're playing it during the same time, or so why is basketball in the Summer Olympics? Is it because they wear shorts?
I mean, you make a great point. If you think about then where are we going to put flag football?
I actually had a different theory here, and based on how this whole show went tonight and why strawberries were the most popular topic on the show tonight, this is perfect, and this is where we'll finish. It's probably because you couldn't play basketball at the Winter Olympics in Milan because the basketball looks like a spicy meatball. You know what I'm saying? For everybody behind the scenes, for everybody grocery shopping right now, for Vegas Mac, for TJ and myself tomorrow on Lunchtime Live, Mac and myself Friday on Lunchtime Live. We'll finish your grocery list for everybody behind the scenes. You know the drill. We out. Thank God.